It's not going to rain. It's going to pour. It is going to be a rough one today, Tiki. You know what's interesting, Tiki, as we look at these 2022 Yankees getting ready for Game 2 eventually? No, I find very interesting. Tell me if you agree. I'm not sure that you will. If you look at the conversations that we've had, everybody's had, going back to at least when we started here on the Fan back in January, right? So much of it was about Cashman's offseason, the lack of faith from a lot of people, a lot of Yankee fans, and I'm on the record, I'm hit or miss with Cash, hit or miss. Boone, I'm more of a supporter because I understand it's collaborative. He's not making these moves by himself, blah, blah, blah. Judge's contract, of course, a huge story this season. Judge's season, a monster story this season. The daily dissection of Garrett Cole. Yeah, I got to tell you, the more I think about this, and I'm on the record as the Yankees not being a World Series champion type of team. But if they are to make me, look foolish, and by all means, bring it, you can make the case that the guy pitching tonight, he really is that key.
Well, Nestor Cortez has been one of my favorite stories, and I think everybody's favorite story if you're a Yankee fan. And even if you're not a Yankee fan, you kind of just love the journey that he's been on because kind of not really sought after Baltimore, and then he comes to New York, and 66 innings. That's his first season. It wasn't great. 5.6 ERA. I'm just looking at the statistics from a statistical standpoint. Last year in 2021, you saw a little bit of something, but his innings were capped, 93 innings, and that's what everybody talked about. Was okay. He's been good at the beginning of the season. What happens when he actually has to go a full 28, 30 starts? And he ended up getting 28 starts. His ERA is 2.44. He's that ERA plus of 159. He's been elite. He's been the best starter, a consistent starter. I put that in, caveated. The best consistent starter for the Yankees all season long.
He's been the best consistent starter in New York, and that includes Scherzer and DeGrom. When they hit their high level, nobody touches them.
That's right.
But in totality,
He has been the fun story.
Yeah.
Especially when you watch him pitch. He's got these different slot angles.
Oh, yeah.
He speeds up the pace. The way he throws is just he's always seems stable. He always seems in control, and he's fun. He's got this nickname, and he's unassuming, and he's not cocky. You love the story. But if the Yankees are to be what Yankee fans want them to be, it's got to be more than a cute story. It's got to be more than, I really love Nestor Cortez. I love where he's come from 93 innings to 155 innings or 58 innings, whatever the total is, to one of the top pitchers in an all-star, all that. It's got to become more than just that, a cute story. It's got to become this guy is elite and a killer when it matters, because that's the only way the Yankees get to where they want to go, because it's not just going to be on Garrett Cole's arm.
For sure.
And the bats.
Yeah, but listen, and there's a lot of things to dissect, of course. I mean, there's going to be some twists and turns here. Hopefully, Yanks are playing roughly another month or 3 weeks or so, and, we're going to have to come in here invariably and talk about the bullpen blowing a lead, or a starter getting rocked, or what's wrong with Judge if he's in a funk, or what's up with Stanton, whatever. IKF, booting balls at shortstop. But, yeah, I really think about it. The key to the World Series is the wacky, a little zany, a little unconventional guy who's going to go tonight or tomorrow whenever we get Game 2 in. And what's reassuring about that, right? Now, it doesn't guarantee results, but it's anti-Chris Bassett vibes. What was Bassett doing? Hell, I can tell you, it's tough to pitch in New York. I don't know. These fans are tough. They let you. Yeah, that's what we do. What is this guy doing? He's just happy to be here. You listen to his press conference? Hey, he even said, I was a relief pitcher. I was kind of cool with that role. I was fine. He is very centered. And I think he's one of the few athletes that is not programmed. That's why I use the word unconventional. Creating. David Cone would do this. Coney would basically create a pitch, off a field, mid-game or in between starts, that he would just start junking around, that it would almost always work. And this guy's kind of cut from the same cloth, which is really fun, because too often there's this blandness, if you will. And I don't mean show it off, because just because you can flip a bat or puff out your chest doesn't really make you entertaining. But a lot of these athletes today are from a conveyor belt, because the way they're taught, you go into the lower levels, even 8, 9, 10U, these baseball factories, year-round training. There's, I've got to have the repeatable swing. God forbid it doesn't look like something that something that looks it's a little awry. My angle launch point is not on plane. And now all of a sudden you got this guy, and he defies everything about the modern baseball player, and we are here for it. Let's go, buddy.
Well.
And then you're not going to pitch tonight because it's going to rain.
Exactly. Well, I mean, hopefully it doesn't jack up the rotation too much. But I think I don't know if we've put it enough emphasis, maybe pressure is the right word, on Nestor because we like him. We don't attack the potential downside, which is you were a relief pitcher. You've never been in this high leverage playoff situation as a starting pitcher. And again, I'll caveat this again. It's the Cleveland Guardians, and they're supposed to win, and they're supposed to smash them, out of the ballpark with their bats. But Nestor
not against
Cortez,
Bieber, they're not.
True, but Nestor Cortez is going to be matched up against Shane Bieber, as you mentioned, and with his calm, with his ability to stabilize. We almost need to start saying, Nestor, you have to have that day. You have to be great. Just like we say with Garrett Cole. For whatever reason, maybe it's because we just like Nestor so much. We're not saying that for Nestor.
Well, because he doesn't have a $330 million contract. That's the answer.
Yeah.
That's the only answer.
But I think
he's also a little more humanized, I think, in terms of how he presents himself.
At this point, it's not even about the money.
But it is. It's always about the money.
It is.
Absolutely.
Isn't it about the win?
Dude, it is
about finding a way to win?
Yeah, of course. That's what matters at the end of the day.
And if Nestor goes out there and he throws up a crooked number in the second inning.
We'll get after him a little bit. But not with the venom that we'd get after for Garrett Cole if he gave up 7 runs the other night. I mean, if Garrett Cole's making $16 million this year instead of double that, I think the evaluation would be very different. Now, I think people are being a little unfair, and I said this yesterday to Tiki, a little overly critical, a little unnecessarily critical, a little unfair to Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole, he's got a 66% winning percentage in his 75 starts here as a Yankee, and he's pitched, 5 playoff games, 4 have been really good, and 1 or 2 have been phenomenal. And he's durable. He takes the rock every 5 days outside of COVID year when he only had 12 starts, and everybody had 12 starts at the top of a rotation because it was a condensed season. So, the fanfare in which Cole came here, it was totally different. I mean, this guy looks like Mario Brothers from the video game. He looks like he could be a janitor. He could be driving the bus. He could be a cop. He could be a fireman. He could be a construction worker. He could be anything but really what he is on a lot of levels in terms of just the symbolism,
so
the aesthetics.
He feels like the everyman. He feels
he
feels like us.
He does.
In a sense.
Well, he feels like me. I'm more the everyman than you.
But you know what I mean. As a listener, the guys who are watching the games, who are working their asses
100%
off,
Teak.
spending a ton of money to go watch these Yankees.
Well, let me ask you,
that's my guy.
Doesn't he look like one of any of the 80,000, 78,000 fans that used to come to watch you at the old Meadowlands?
He does.
Exactly.
He does. And not want to say he's nondescript because he's an individual in and of himself. And he's developed a personality and a brand that you notice now. In fact, he's probably one of the more recognizable players on the Yankees simply because of the mustache, and the way he carries himself and his. Like you see him pitch, you're like, oh yeah, that's Nestor. Mm-hmm. Right? So some of the other guys, you're like, who is that? Is that who is that? Right? So it's different with Nestor, and I think that brings responsibility. And I think that's really my point. Is that at some point it becomes more than just a likable story, and it becomes Nestor. We need you to be who everybody expects you to be, and there's a pressure that comes with that. I wonder if he feels it. But we'll find out.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
That's why I use Bassett as a reference point. Because you could I thought Bassett, and I said this was the first guess, not after he pitched poorly the final game. He looked like he was in his own head. Yes, you're telling us things that we already know, but because we're from here, we don't really process it that way. And I understand that there's a transitional here. It's hard if you're not from here. It's tough. But the more he said it, I'm like, shh. Then you listen to Nestor, it's the exact opposite. I think his heartbeat's going to be slow, and I think he's going to be fine. I think he gives the Yankees a great chance to win.
If Nestor is Nestor, and he gives us what he's given us every single, or for most of the outings, I won't give all of them because a couple of them were, went a little askew. But if Nestor gives us what we expect him to give us, then this Yankee team can be a World Series team. If not, and it's all we got to believe, we got to trust in Cole.
Hope Severino's okay.
Hope Sevy stays healthy for the next month or so. If it's those questions instead of Nestor's still the man, then the Yankees will have trouble winning. But if he's the dude and Cole does what he did yesterday or 2 days ago, and Sevy is healthy and almost can throw no hitters through 7 innings, then you know what? The Yankees have a chance. And I'll probably start changing my mind about where I think they can get to. Because right now, to me, it's still the Astros in the American League.
Me too. And by the way, if they get out of it, it's still the Dodgers in my mind. If the Dodgers are there,
but if Nestor is great,
Braves are tough.
If Nestor is great, and Rizzo is Rizzo, and Judge is Judge, and all the other things that we talked about yesterday, then the Yankees actually do have a chance. But this is a situation he's never been in. The regular season is one thing. The story was cute. It was awesome. But now there comes responsibility, and that's what greatness comes from. When you see and feel the responsibility and you rise to the occasion, and if Nestor does it, then the Yankees do have a chance to win the World Series.
I agree, and I have not been saying that all summer. Listen, it's one thing to root for the team. It's another thing to evaluate them honestly and objectively, and I didn't view this Yankees team as a World Series team. And listen, there's a lot of hurdles this team still needs to hop over, including the next game against a pitcher who very well can scatter 4 hits and shut you down. Shane Bieber's terrific. But I think that is the point. That is the key. If Cortez is, I think, who many of us really think he is, then it changes. Then the Yankees can beat anybody and can get back and win the World Series. 877-337-6666. All right, Tiki and Tierney here on the Fan. It's a Thursday. Obviously, the weather is awful, so we'll help navigate that as the updates come in. I mean, it looks terrible. I know you can't move it up, but why can't you? I'm saying you can't move it up.
I mean,
I know you can't move it up now, but why couldn't you do something preemptively last night?
Yeah,
why not?
Did they think about it?
Well, they had to.
affecting the rest of the schedule like everybody else's. I mean, I guess so, because they want standalone games in prime time, or not even prime time, because yesterday the game started at 1:30. They just want every series to be kind of its own little.
I get that, but
entity.
it's not going to happen. Just a thought, if you know it's going to pour.
It'd be great because it's fine right now.
Yeah, but it's
in
coming.
A couple hours, it's going to be fine.
I mean, if football's already
5
canceled,
hours, it's going to be a downpour.
Soccer game's going to get canceled tonight. There's nothing happening tonight, but when it does, the pressure and maybe the keys to the Yankees' future really is with Cortez more than anybody else, even Judge and Cole. 877-337-6666.